It's Aleya Antoine. You're listening to Tease podcast.
Everyone loves the tease. Stop.
But don't get too excited.
I love a good honeymoon phase, and I used to only think that honeymoon phases were in relationships. Then I slowly realized that they're in friendships, because I used to be like, meet someone for 2 months and I'm like, oh my God, I love you, you're my best friend. And then I know you for 6 months and I'm like, you're the fucking devil. So then last year I realized, oh my God, honeymoon phases apply to friendships too. Hello everyone and welcome to Tease podcast. Happy Tuesday, bitches. It is so good to see you guys again. I don't want to have to start another episode with an apology, but I have to start another episode with an apology because if y'all haven't noticed, we have been on somewhat of a bi-weekly schedule lately. And it is simply because I have not been the strongest soldier lately. And I have been feeling just like completely overwhelmed in like my personal life, my external life. And so with me like doing everything, it's been hard to do all of it. And I think that I used to have this thing to where I was like, you know what? I will pass out on the floor. I will go to the hospital and get an IV before I admit or show that I am overwhelmed in any regard. Like that used to be my mentality. I was like, never let anyone see you sweat. It doesn't matter how tired you are. You better keep on going. And I think that is not always the best way to do things because then you end up burning out. Or worse, you end up resenting what it is that you're doing. And so I've adapted this new mindset where I heard that it's not about taking a break. It's about how fast you can how fast you can rebound. And so I've been trying to rebound, get back in the game, but I didn't want to run myself into the ground because I also want to give you all the best episodes. And I also love doing this. And I wouldn't want to like ruin that for myself because I have a habit of like, I overdo everything and then I'm done with it. Like I was at Trader Joe's the other day and the cashier was cashing me out. You know how Trader Joe's, they always have the cashier, the bagger, and either Trader Joe's employees are really friendly or they're forced to talk to you. I don't know which one it is, but they always have a conversation. I'm going to go with forced to talk to you. It has to be like a part of the protocol or something. So the girl's like asking me, oh, how are you doing that? I mentioned that I just moved here recently. Her friend that was bagging was like, oh my God, like I want to move. That's so cool. And I was like, oh yeah, I mean, where would you want to go? And he was like, well, I don't know. Like I've literally been at this job for 8 years. And the girl goes, what? And I go, like, we both kind of like look at him and gasp because I'm like, I don't think I've ever done anything for 8 years. Like 8 years is a long time, especially because he said that it wasn't his passion or anything and that he actually already went to school and like graduated and everything. And he was like, yeah, like I just got hooked on it and I really like it. And honestly, I admire him so much because if I could commit to like a job, a life scenario, just like some sort of consistency for 8 years, like the moment that I do that, I'll get a pat on the back. But to be fair, me and Kai were talking about this yesterday, and 8 years ago, I was only like, what, 13 or 14? So no, I was 14. I was 14 8 years ago. So I got time to make an 8-year claim to something. I just have a habit of like running by, like I like something and then I overdo it and then I'm done with it. Like that is how I've been pretty much at everything. And so I don't want to be like that again. So I am trying to actually follow wellness advice, follow what my body's telling me. And I think that just with what's going on in America and stuff lately, like I don't get into politics on this podcast, but I think that it's like so in our face right now that I would be kind of like dumb and blinded to not like mention it a little bit. But like I have been feeling, I don't know, ever since Monday when it like all that started happening, I think that I just like, I have a hard time separating church and state. Like, some people, they find out what's going on in the world and they move on with their daily life. Like if I feel like something's like really scary or really frustrates me or like could really directly affect me, I have a hard time like just moving on and having a good day. Like I literally like have been reading like everyone's Instagram story. I mean, it's on everyone's Instagram stories. Like at least everyone that I follow, I see an article every time. And like every time I'm like, well, I'm not getting anything done after reading that. So I've been having to like kind of just like take a break from like reading all the noise and everything. First of all, I think that we all can agree that the whole TikTok going away was the dumbest shit that I've ever seen. Like, it was literally one of those things to where I think it was just playing with us. And I think that TikTok had just gotten like so like not overused because we all use it and love it, but it's more like it had just become so normally a part of our day that like it wasn't in the limelight as an app itself anymore. And I think it just wanted the drama. I think it just wanted the drama. The little notification where it said like say thank you or we're thankful to was very suspicious. That was very suspicious and I did not like that at all. But yeah, it was really funny how people were like saying like all of their deepest darkest secrets right before it went away, and like then the app comes back. Like I would, I'm glad I didn't hop on that trend. But honestly, I haven't really scrolled on TikTok that much because at one point I like must have looked at a bunch of scary TikToks at once. You know what I mean? Like, you know how when you accidentally look at one thing 3 times, you end up seeing it on your entire For You page? Like you could not escape it. Like, oh my God, I saw Kai's whole videos is like the military and dogs. Like Kai watches like 2 dog videos and that's all that there is. Well, at some point in life, I watched either a really scary news article or I paid attention to those like, comment, share, and blessings will come your way. And now my whole For You page, like for years, is like the actual like stuff, the trends, the girlies, the yoga, the skincare. But so much of it is like either scary shit or it's if you like comment this and this, then you'll like get like good luck. And it started overwhelming me because I was like, what if I skip this one? Will my entire year go wrong because I skipped and didn't like and save a TikTok? Probably. So I just like haven't been on as much. And like I do want to get back on because it is a fun place, but that was just really dramatic. That was really dramatic. It was giving the couple who like breaks up and like tells you all this dramatic shit about how they're finally done. They ask you for your advice. They ask you what you think. They ask you, how do I break up with my boyfriend? They're like, I'm finally done. Like this time I'm over it. And then they get back together 2 days later and you're like, thanks for wasting my time, wasting my energy. But yeah, after seeing everything on Monday, I was just like, oh my God, like I am so drained. Like I was already drained in my personal life. And then I have to see this shit all the time. And so if you're feeling like depleted, tired out, scared, anxiety, depression about anything that's going on, I think it is completely valid because this is not like a far away issue. What's going on is not completely removed for you. And it's okay to let it impact you. It's okay to let it, I guess, kind of debilitate you. And I'm not saying let it take over you, but it's okay to acknowledge the fact that it's taking a toll on you because how could it not? It's so close to home. And don't beat yourself up if you're like, I think that I need a break from the world just for a little bit. Take care of yourself. It was so funny because when I did go on TikTok for like a split second, the first TikTok that came up was like something about like, it was a femme lesbian saying like, hey, like as a femme or like as the person who probably has more privilege in the relationship, it's your job to like defend like the more masculine one. And like they basically were saying that like it's like the person who's able to get the most privilege out of their role in society should like protect the other one type of thing. So she was like, femmes, I'm a femme, and basically anyone would think I was straight. So it's your job to like socially and everything protect like your mask, you know what I mean? And I thought it was really funny because one thing that I think that me and Kai have a lot of issues with is it's like, okay, Kai is like a white presenting mask, right? And I am like a black presenting, wait, no, not black presenting. I am black. I am black and femme. So I feel like we have a hard time figuring out who's gonna fight the fight because it's like we don't know what person we're dealing with. Like it is really difficult sometimes because I'm like, okay, if they seem like they're just homophobic, I got this. I got this. Don't worry, I'll take care of us. But I'm like, but if they seem like they're a little racist, you got this. You got this. If they're both, we just can't go. If they're both, we just can't be around this. We need to bow out gracefully and leave. And so, yeah, this week has been crazy. And I can already tell that like the change and the way that like people are acting has been different because I went to Ulta because I wanted to return y'all lied to me. Y'all lied to me because the Fembot eyeshadow by Ariana Grande, Rim Beauty, has been going viral like a motherfucker. Like one of my good friends has it. And I have to admit, a part of me shouldn't have fell for the trend because it was never on my skin tone, but I saw literally one singular black girl, and she was like Fimba eyeshadow on dark skin, and it looked really pretty on her. Keep in mind, she is a makeup vlogger, and we honestly, the only thing we have in common is being black. Like, she looks nothing like me. And I thought, oh my God, it looks so good on this one singular girl that looks nothing like me. I should buy it. I should buy it because I already have the gold one, right? I tried it on, and I recently got the Canon G7X, and I had been wanting to post pictures with it. And the reason why I haven't is because I was wearing that dumbass eyeshadow and I looked ugly at every single thing. You know how bad an eyeshadow has to look on you for you to look ugly in a Canon G7X photo? No, literally, I was like crying. Like, I had a mental breakdown. I was like, Kai, like, I know you got me this gift and I love it, but like, why do I look ugly? Like, you're supposed to look even prettier. And I was like, oh my God, maybe I'm just ugly. Maybe the camera is just trying to tell me something. You know what I mean? I returned the eyeshadow, tried out the camera again, and I recently posted because the pictures turned out great. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I was driving. Well, I was actually leaving after I had already returned it, right? And I'm waiting in line to turn right. Like, I'm just waiting there. There's a car in front of me that's getting ready to turn. When you're turning right, as we all are drivers, as we all know, sometimes it takes you a little bit because you have to get all the way over to like the furthest lane. And just because the one closest to you is clear doesn't mean that you should go. Plus, people switch lanes, especially in Vegas, without a blinker all the time. So like, it's a scary world turning right. It's a scary world merging onto the freeway. So we're waiting to turn right. The person in front of me is taking, I guess, kind of a little while, but I'm honestly not tripping. I'm listening to a podcast. I understand how it works. Like, it's no pressure, dude. Like, sometimes I don't even turn on a yellow because I'm like, I don't know who's going to speed. You know what I mean? Take care of yourself. The car behind me is like this old, like scruffed up guy, and he starts honking so loud, just honking over and over again at the poor car in front of me. But I'm in the middle, so I'm like, dude, what the fuck? That car probably thinks it's me. He's laying down his horn because honking, you're just like, No, now this man is laying it down. He is like, such an asshole thing. The car finally turns, they move, and now it's my turn to go. What dumb bitch ever just turns directly right after someone? Literally, I had to do driving school for twice as long because I was such a bad driver. So I learned the rules 2 times over. You don't just blindly follow someone. You look again, right? And then you go. So I'm looking both ways, and the guy lays his horn down on me like the whole time. As soon as I get up there, because I didn't just immediately follow the car, he's just honking and laying it down. So I'm like, okay, if you're going to be a piece of work, then so am I. So I take my sweet time. I'm like, I need to get all the way over. So I'm going to get all the way over when I turn. I'm waiting. I drive slow across. I'm like, I am chilling. But you know what? It was the safest turn I've ever taken in my life. It was the safest turn. I felt so good about it. So then I'm waiting because the light is red. So I'm already in the lines, right? I'm already on the road. I'm waiting. The light's red. It's me right here. There's another lane in the middle, and there's another lane over. Well, the car next to me left a little bit of a gap to where me and the person 2 lanes over could make eye contact. For some reason, I just happened to turn. It was the guy that was behind me before that was honking at me. So homeboy rolls down his window from 2 lanes over, rolls that down, and is like screaming, like hollering across the lanes at me. And I don't really know what he was saying. It was something wrong along the lines of like bitch, C-word, all the stuff, right? So I start rolling my window down. And I don't think that I'm a very intimidating person. I've been told that I can be, and other people have told me that they would never be scared of me. And I resemble someone who is just like, can't fight, right? And other people have told me I wouldn't mess with you. You seem like you can't fight. So I don't really have a good perception of like what my intimidation level is. But as soon as I roll my window down and start staring at this guy, he starts immediately trying to roll his window up. Like, he sees me rolling it down, so he's trying to backtrack. But I already saw him. So I start screaming out my window, roll that shit down. Roll that shit down. My Texas came out. So then he rolls down the window. And I was being dumb, and I thought you can reason with a lunatic. whoever was going to fill me in that you can't reason with crazy men. So I go, I'm sorry if you're pissed off. There was a car in front of me that I had to wait for them to turn. I had to wait for the car in front of me to go. This is his response to me saying a completely valid thing. I wasn't even cussing. I just said I had to wait for the car in front of me to go. That's why it took a little bit longer. And he starts screaming, yeah, but you're slow as fuck too, bitch. And I'm like, okay. So then I start screaming and I'm like, you're effing out. I don't even know what I said. I blacked out and I'm screaming back at him and I'm like, you like, shut up, da 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 da. I'm calling him every name in the book. He's calling me every name. And then we just like stop. We both roll up our windows. I think that it was just one of those things where we both got tired, maybe. Maybe he lost his voice. Maybe he realized that I'm the type of person that will just keep going. I don't know. I don't know if maybe he thought that I was one of those girls that you could just yell at and I would get scared and I would ignore him, which is what most sane people would do, especially because I kid you not, guys, do not have road rage with crazy people. People are scary on these streets and I just haven't learned my lesson yet. Like, that's just what happens. Like, I learned to drive in Texas and over there, like, my parents, every time I'm in the car with them when they visit, they end up getting into like a verbal argument with someone on the road. Like, I don't know if it's just a Texas thing. I think it is because it's just so normalized there. It's like pretty much a part of your driver's ed. So we both roll up the window, but the light is still red and the car that's in between us refuses to scoot up next to us to block us from each other. Kai was like, well, if I was that car, I wouldn't scoot up between two lunatics either. So now me and the guy are sitting there, both just staring at the red light silently. And I was like, this feels like a scene out of the movie, but it was just complete proof that like things are getting crazier. Things are getting crazier. Personally, though, I think that I have finally realized, okay, I've been living in Vegas for like 2 months now, I think. Yeah, a little over 2, about to be 3 months. And I realized that I think the 2 to 3 month period, just like how it is with relationships, that's the honeymoon period. I think I'm out of my honeymoon phase with Vegas is what's happening too. So like, I love a good honeymoon phase. And I used to only think that honeymoon phases were in relationships. Then I slowly realized that they're in friendships, because I used to be like, meet someone for 2 months and I'm like, oh my God, I love you. You're my best friend. And then I know you for 6 months and I'm like, you're the fucking devil. So then last year I realized, oh my God, honeymoon phases apply to friendships too. This year I am realizing already that I think that honeymoon phases are just part of literally every attachment relationship aspect of life. And I think that I have just gotten on my honeymoon phase with Vegas and it's low-key making me spiral. And it's not that I don't like it. I am so happy that we moved here. I'm so fortunate that we moved here. Like literally every day that I leave my apartment, I look around and I'm like, I remember when me and Kai were applying for this apartment and didn't think that it was going to happen. I remember when we were sleeping on the floor of our old place trying to get it cleaned up. I remember when we finally paid like a random lady to drive us to the airport. I remember when we moved here, we had no furniture and we slept on the floor again. We ate dinner on top of the counter and we used a spatula as our utensils. Like I remember all that and I'm so grateful, but like life keeps moving. And one natural human thing is that like you want something, you get it, and your mind is immediately on the next goal. And I think that what's been happening with like the honeymoon phase with Vegas is that now I feel like I fully moved in here and I fully lived here. Well, not lived here, but I fully moved in here, the apartment set up. And now that I moved in, I'm ready to live here, but it's like I'm not a part of the mix yet. And I was trying to remember how that was in Washington, but I think I blocked that part out. But I do remember feeling the same way of like, okay, I finally moved here. It's amazing. Da, da, da. And then all of a sudden, you've done a lot of the touristy stuff. You've done a lot of the at-home stuff. Your place is set up and you're like, oh my God, I know no one. I have no connections. I want to be part of the mix. I want to be part of the cool people. I want to go to all the locals things. I want to just like be in the know. but you're not in the know. You're in the nobody zone. And so I think that I've been having a hard time with that. And I think that especially like with auditions, I had 2 more at the beginning of this week, and then I have another one tomorrow. And I think auditions has really highlighted that for me. It's really made me realize like, oh my God, like there's so much that happens for people who live here. There's so much opportunities for people who live here. And I'm in that awkward limbo of I live here and I finally moved in, but the move-in starter part, honeymoon part is done, and I'm ready to like be a part of that relationship. And I think that it's been hard for me because I think that I just have this thing to where I need to enjoy the process more. I need to trust the process more. I think I need to enjoy like slowly tipping my toes in, because even in Seattle, I wouldn't say that we were part of the mix for at least a year. Like it took a really long time to be able to go places and be like, I know this person, I know that person. This is where you go. This is a good spot. This is my friend so-and-so who knows so-and-so. We were on this, we were on this. It took pretty much a year for us to do that. And I mean, for the first whole year of Seattle, we were like kind of like edging our way in, you know what I mean? Like we would slowly appear. We had to pay for tickets to everything because we didn't know anyone. We didn't have the hookup, you know, like we were very much outsiders. Like we were Dan Humphrey on Gossip Girl type shit. And that is the whole thing, is that sometimes moving mentally can be harder than moving physically. We got the physical part over with, and now it's like the mentally being a part of it that like we're trying to get into. I think it also highlighted it because my mom is visiting next week. My parents have never visited me before. Never. Do y'all have any advice? Because I don't have advice for y'all because I've never done this before. I wonder how it's gonna go. I have to drop a bomb on them. I'm not gonna talk about what it is, but like I also, as much as I'm excited about them visiting, I also have to like tell them like a deep dark secret. So that's good. That's already weighing on me. You know how that feels. You know how you feels when you have to tell your parents something that to a friend would be completely normal, but to your parents, you're like, oh, dang it. I gotta address this. So that's been a little bit difficult, but you know what? It is fun, and the great part about it is that like you do get to completely reinvent yourself, be a new person. You get to have a clean slate with people. Like I don't want to introduce and put the same foot forward that I put in Texas, I put in Seattle. So that is an exciting part, and we are like slowly making our way in. I actually I had my first casino win. Your girl is a gambler. Well, I didn't win big money, but I won a little bit of money. So me and Kai, we went into one of the casinos by our house, and we went one time, and we've been back like twice a week. Maybe they are addicting, but it's just so pretty. And in Vegas, like half of the time, the casinos are where everything is. It's where the restaurants are. It's where the bars are. It's where sometimes the movie theater is. It's where the club is. Like there's a lot of places where like the casino is where you go in for everything. So we've been going a lot lately, and we really wanted to go to this oyster bar, which was so good. It was like, oh, I love seafood. Seafood is my favorite food, but I don't like any type of seafood. I like Creole seafood. And it was just that. There was a bald black man that was cooking it, and I immediately knew this is a place for me. We made eye contact, and I was like, I'm coming, sir. I'm coming. We didn't know at all about casinos. And the thing about like slot machines and all that, like no one really tells you how to do it. We went on TikTok, we went on YouTube, we went on TV. Like no one tells you how to gamble. No one has made like a gambling for dummies. I'm trademarking that right now. Don't take it. But like there's no like gambling for dummies that like actually tells you. I'm a visual learner too. So just reading up online like was not helping me. So I was like, how do I do this? And I've asked like some of like my managers and my friends, and like people kind of just are very vague about it. I don't know why. It's a big secret. So I haven't done table games yet. I don't know how to do any of those. Slot machines, guys, this is how you do it. You pick out an amount of money. If it's your first time like it was for us, keep in mind I'm not a pro. I've only done this once. What we did was, well, actually we did it one time when we visited before, but we bet $10, immediately lost it. And at first we were like, maybe we should never do it again. But we were like, let's try it. We just got dinner. Let's put in, I think we put in $80 to gamble. And basically our goal was just to cover our food. Our food bill was like $80. So we put in $80 to see if we can make another 80, right? And so basically all slot machines are pretty much the same. It's pretty much you trying to get 3 icons in a row that will give you some sort of prize. And every slot machine tells you what icons will give you what. You know what I mean? That is how you do it. You put in your cash and then basically you have an amount of credits. It gives you, like, let's say you have $5 and it gives you 80 credits. Then it will tell you you can go 1 times 3 times 5 times 7 times 8 of your bet, right? So oh man, I hope I'm explaining this well. So you have your amount of credits. The more that you multiply it is going to be the more that you would get if you were to win, but it's also going to be more that uses up your credit. So if I had 80 credits and I did it times 3, I would only be losing like maybe 3 credits. Whereas if I did it times 9, I would be losing 9 credits at a time. So if you don't put in too much money, you don't want to do really high bets because you're going to go through it faster and have less turns at it. And basically you're just trying to get a winning combo. I personally liked the Wheel of Fortune one. Pretty much they're all the same with different icons. Like it's literally pretty much the same slot machine for all of them, but they all just have their own name and their own icons. I felt personally connected to the Wheel of Fortune one because I used to spend summers with my great grandma and we would watch Wheel of Fortune. So I was like, what, like my great grandma was like the most perfect angel. She's the most good luck charm I could possibly have. What better one for this one? So I did it. My first round of betting, I won $40 on a $5 bet. And then I put it back in. We put in all the money. I ended up winning $156 in total. So we ended up we went through the 80, but we made 150 something. So I ended up flipping it $70 more and covering dinner, which was really, really exciting. Kai went in and immediately had to get off the machines because it was stressing them out. I think that the mentality that I went into, which made me a more successful person, was that I was thinking of it like we all go to arcades, we all go to Dave & Buster's, right? You put in like $80 to $100 on your Dave & Buster's card. You're not getting shit with that. You're playing arcade games, you're going to get some measly ass points, and you're going to trade it in for a lame ass toy that you could buy on Amazon for under $30. Like when you go to Dave & Buster's, you're simply pretty much going to play games and you get a small little prize to compensate the fuck ton of money that you just spent. At a casino, you're going to play games, you're putting in the money, but you actually have the chance to enjoy money. And so the way that I kind of look at it is the money that you're planning on spending, please don't think that you're going to get it back. Don't think that you're going to get it back. Don't have that expectation because then you're going to feel like shit if you lose it. Go into it with the intention of like, I'm going to Dave & Buster's. But that's why it's important to not gamble away your whole life. Like me and Kai were doing it and Kai was like, can you believe that some people like gamble away their whole house? Like some people look at the slot machine and go, I'm going to bet my child's college tuition. And I was like, honestly, that's crazy. But I have to say, after winning, I wish that someone would have handed me another $100 so I could keep playing because shit was fun. It was a lot of fun, especially if you go with the right people. Like I feel like for me and Kai to go together, it was really fun. So that is something that I finally crossed off my bucket list, and I do intend to go back, and I plan to go back again. If anyone wants me to do their money for them, I'll do it. I don't think I had beginner's luck. I think beginner's luck would have been if I hit thousands of dollars, but now I feel like I know what I'm doing. I feel like I know what I'm doing, and I'll let y'all know when I hit the jackpot. Oh, I've also just been adulting so much recently. I was planning on getting the podcast done too on one day, and literally the night before, I'm eating a chicken wing because I made homemade chicken wings, and I broke my fucking permanent retainer. Like the whole thing was like halfway off, and I had to do the most mentally ill shit that I've done in a long time. I ripped the rest of the permanent retainer off my teeth. I'm not proud of it. I'm not trying to be flossy. It was honestly so ghetto. I read online, like if you have half of the retainer off, since it's a wire that's poking, you have to go to the emergency room because if you swallow it, like, you're gonna die. So then I was like, well, I don't have time to go to the emergency room. I don't even have dental insurance. I only have medical. So I just was like, I'm gonna have to pretend like I'm 17 again, super depressed, have no car and no way to get around with $2 in my bank account, and put that type of energy into getting this off my teeth. And channeling 17-year-old Aleya, that bitch came off. So then I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to find health insurance, all this stuff. And like the thing with like insurance is like, one, it's way too adult-like for me. We didn't learn about it in school, so the only advice that you get is from your parents, your grandparents, and word of mouth. And I went online and I typed in cheap dental insurance, and then all these fucking websites came up. I put my number into one website. I've been getting calls for the past 5 weeks. I've been getting call after call after call, all because I looked it up in the past, right? I've been getting texts too saying, "Hi, Aleya, this is so-and-so from so-and-so. Do you still want dental coverage?" And it just all felt like a really big scam. Like, I just looked at it and I was like, I'm going to lose my social security number if I get dental insurance. So then I was like, what's another cheap way to get your teeth worked on to go to the dentist? Guys, I'm going to let you on another adulting pro tip because I am such an adult teen ass bitch. Go to a dental school. I found on TikTok, I found on WikiHow, and it was like people like who don't have health insurance, who are young, who like make lower income. And if you don't want to pay as much as going to a regular licensed person, you can go to a dental school, and there's dentists that are in training with professional dentists as their teachers, and they'll give you your stuff for like half or even more than half off the price. And it's crazy how like going to schools for things, you can get such cheaper services. Like Kai's in cosmetology school, so I wanted to support them. So I went to go to a pedicure there, and I paid like $20 for it, which was crazy. And they do like acrylics. You get your hair dyed there. Once Kai starts dyeing hair at that school, I will be in and out. But I went to the dental school, and they even had an orthodontist one for UNLV. And so I just booked an appointment at the orthodontist thing. You get like a quick little screening to see if you could be a patient. They let anyone in. And when I say like it's not embarrassing to go, it's not embarrassing to go. There were so many people there, and it's because health insurance in America fucking sucks. Like, they get it, you know what I mean? Plus, by going, like, you're literally supporting the upcoming generation of like doctors, cosmetologists, like just you're supporting young professionals. So at least that's what I told myself. So I booked an appointment at the orthodontist thing, and it's like, what's really good about the orthodontist one is that it's people who are already licensed dentists. So all the students are already dentists. It's just that they need to go to a specialty school. So now they're orthodontists in training, and there's actual orthodontists that are like overseeing them. And I got a whole new top teeth retainer for $100. Now I called around at an actual dentist, an actual orthodontist, to see how much it would be. It was going to be $300 to $800. I saved 50 to 80% off. So like that is another hack that I wanted to share with you guys. It's just so painful doing adult things. Like the form that I did to check in, it was like, when was your last doctor's appointment? And I was like, it had to be eons ago. I think the last time I went to the doctor was when I had to get a physical for college. So like 4 years, 3 years, no, 4 or 5. Oh my God, I'm old. Oh my God, I'm old. One of the bussers at my job, he's 17, and he called me ma'am. And I was like, don't call me ma'am. I'm only like a couple years older than you. And he was like, I'm 17. And I was like, oh my God, you actually think I'm a ma'am? I'm 5 years older than you. And he's like, no, you're really young. And I was like, yeah, but you're younger. And you called me ma'am. And that was just, it was just really hurtful to do when like my period's coming. You know what I mean? I'm kidding. I didn't say that. But yeah, it's just really crazy. Yeah, I feel like I've just been trying to find my footing. I have this whole idea that I was going to come to Vegas and be a completely new person, which I think in a lot of ways I am. But I think that I've already learned my first lesson of 2025. I thought that we weren't supposed to learn the lessons till next month. I thought this month was a free trial, but I learned my first lesson of the year, guys. And basically, when I moved here, not only did I want to have a personality change, which I think that I have changed in like a positive way, like I'm becoming more of who I wanted to be, but I really wanted to have kind of like a physical change. Like I've told y'all, Vegas is like baddie central, and I was like, not necessarily that I'm trying to keep up with everyone, but it's more like in Washington and Texas, like I just didn't feel like I had to try my best here, you know what I mean? And I was like, now I'm really motivated I want to keep up with my roots. I want to keep up with my makeup. I want to get better makeup products, because I used to be so oily that I would put on makeup and go through like 5 to 7 oil blotting sheets like in a night. So I was like, I'm going to completely reinvent doing my makeup routine. Guys, I'm going to let you in a little hack for all the people who have seen tutorials on TikTok, on YouTube, on doing your makeup, and you find out that it sucks. Going back to the Fembot eyeshadow, be who you are, stick to your current makeup routine. The only thing you need to do is upgrade the product. So for me, I don't like foundation. It does not look good on me. I am a concealer girl. I am an eyeliner girl, and I never really wore eyeshadow. I used to wear eyeshadow in high school, and looking back, I didn't like it. So I've been only doing eyeliner religiously for 5 years. But I thought, oh my God, I moved to Vegas. I start wearing eyeshadow now. And yeah, it kicked me in the ass. I didn't look good. And I feel like I went through all of this. It's crazy. I bought all these new products, guys. I bought new clothes. I bought new makeup. For me to return literally almost half of it, because it wasn't even makeup that was a part of my normal routine that I upgraded. It was like I was trying to add shit to my routine. Like I was trying to add extra eyeshadow, extra this, extra that. And it just, none of it looked or turned out good. And I know it didn't look good because it wasn't turning up good in the photos. And it's like I got all that shit just to go back to the lesson of be yourself and don't change yourself. And so one thing that I do want to share though is if you do have oily skin, the makeup routine that I've been using that I've been obsessed with, if you're a concealer girly instead of a foundation girly, Tarte is always going to take the win. They came out with a new, it's called a creamy creaseless concealer. I used to use the original creaseless one and I liked it, but it wasn't full coverage enough. And it like still sometimes left to shine. The creamy one is so moisturizing. It's really matte and it's like full coverage. It looks just so nice. It looks so nice. I love Tarte too, because if you have like, actually, no, I think it's for all skin tones. It has an amazing thing, especially online. If you go to Tarte, it tells you, like, let's say they have 3 shades of, let's say, brown, right? It tells you the undertone for each of those shades. So like they may all on the outside look like, oh, I could wear any of these, but one says for peachy undertones, one says for golden undertones, one says for dark undertones. And so I love their concealer, especially if you go online, you can get 40% off if you're military or a medical worker and 20% off for students. I've been really into buying makeup directly from the retailers lately and not from like Ulta or Sephora because it's so much cheaper. Like I've been getting my hair products from the cosmetology store that Kai goes to for half the price. And I've been getting my makeup directly from the retailers for half the price. Like, guys, this is beauty on a budget. Beauty on a budget, honestly, it's not even on a budget. It's just a smarter way to buy beauty products because we need so much of them. Also, if you want a good primer, setting powder, and setting spray, I have to tell you, TikTok's right. One size slays it. I use the Secure the Blur primer for my cheeks because they have some texture. And then I use the Secure the Sweat for under my eyes and then my T-zone area. And when I tell you I haven't had to oil blot, like I wear my makeup from 10 a.m. for auditions till we started going to the casino. We were there till like 10 p.m. So almost pretty much a 12-hour day. I didn't oil blot until like the 6th, 7th hour. Swear by it. And like, I am not a professional makeup person. Like, I used to be really good at makeup when I was younger and I lost it. When I was younger, I could slay like a whole eyeshadow look. I did my mom's entire makeup routine for her wedding. But now I'm like a little bit more toned down. Maybe it's because it's not 2016 makeup anymore. But those products are good. And this is not sponsored. This podcast doesn't have any promotions because we're still working on that. But I just thought that I had to put y'all on game. But yeah. Thank you so much for listening, guys. This was a reminder to, one, take care of yourself mentally. And it's okay to feel completely stressed out by what's going on in the world. It's fucking scary. 2, don't be like me. Don't try to change yourself all to find out that you should have just been who you were originally because you look like shit in the photo and you just don't feel like yourself and that weird bikini that you bought. So stick to what you know and just upgrade that. If you know that I look good with this, I just need to upgrade my products, do that. Don't completely change. But if you do want to try it out, at least you tried and at least you could return it later. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Be sure to follow the podcast on Instagram at TeasePod, at Tease Podcast on all other platforms. And be sure to subscribe on YouTube, rate and review on Spotify and Apple. Follow the pod on there too. And be sure to write in your questions, stories, and advice, please, so we can do another Tease Me Question Stories Advice on our next episode. And I will see y'all next week. I love you guys.